everybody, this is Nick from NC Cosplay. I'm going to be posting a video tutorial on my crowbar prop. Perfectly convention safe, it's light, it's cheap to make, it'd be perfect for Jokers, Gordon Freemans, the Wet Bandits from Home Alone. I'm going to use mine for a Red Hood build. So it's a pretty simple build. The materials you might already have. If you don't, they're cheap to come by. So here we go. A length of PVC pipe. This one is about 2 feet, a little over, 1/2 inch diameter. Some tape, scotch tape, duct tape, masking tape, blue painter's tape, whatever you prefer. A cutting tool. This is a Dremel with an attachment. This is a coping saw. You could also use a hacksaw. 2 flat boards. The size or thickness doesn't matter as long as they're flat and fairly sturdy. Some sort of cylinder. It could be a big piece of conduit like I have here, or you could have a pop bottle, a paint can if you prefer, whatever you can find. A heat gun. And finally, you'll need some sand. The first thing you're going to do is take your tape and tape off one end. Then you're going to fill your PVC pipe with sand. The best way I've found to do it so far is to put your sand up on a table, use the floor if you want, put your hole up top, and then you're going to take your PVC pipe and shove it right in there, and it's going to fill it up. Each time you get it, you want to tamp it down, because you want it to be nice, solid, and full inside this pipe. You could also use a funnel if you'd like. I don't think you get it in as tight though. Okay, up to the top, but watch what happens if I can tamp it down a little bit. Especially at the bottom. I was just hitting the bottom and you see how far it went down. So do it one more time and really shove it in there. Try one more time. Even then, it went down a little bit. Last try. Okay, so now we're about as full as I think we're going to get. And what you're going to do, same as you did the other end, take your tape, tape off the end, and then what you're going to do, just wrap around there so it doesn't come off very easily. Okay, now we're ready to heat it up. What you'll need for this next step is your heat gun, your PVC, and your cylinder to make your curve bend around. Now, when you do the heat gun, it's going to be important to make a nice, even heat. So instead of just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like that, you want to make sure you're spinning your PVC the whole time. So the way I do it, I'm going to fast forward through this part of the video so you don't have to watch me, is as I'm turning the PVC, I'm also giving my heat gun a little bit of a rotation at the same time. So it's a nice circular motion, and that's going to give you a nice heat. So what you're going to do, find where you want your curve, put your fist on it. I'm going to make mine about right here. And then what you're going to do is heat from 1 inch above your fist to 1 inch below your fist. I'll show you what we get once I start heating up. Okay, so real time I was heating for about 4 minutes, and this is what I have. So take your cylinder again and wrap your PVC around it and give it a nice bend. Don't tug too hard, don't pull too much on it. And as long as you got enough sand in there, you're going to have a curve like this. See? That's about what we want. I want mine a little bit lower though, so I'll move my bar down to about right here. Now curve it one more time. It doesn't take too long to cool. 20 to 30 seconds should do, so just Kind of be patient. And you'll see I'm starting to get a little kink right there, but that's going to be alright because we're going to flatten that edge anyways. So I'm going to fast forward through this so you don't have to sit here and wait. Alright, here's what we have so far. All we have to do now is heat up the ends, pinch them down and flatten them, and we're going to cut the V, the notch where the claw is for the crowbar to pry, and then that's your build. Alright, so the tape's off, the sand's emptied out. Here's what you're going to need for this step. Your heat gun, your 2 boards, and your length of PVC, which is now shaped like a candy cane. So what you're going to do, when you heat this up, I'll usually, just to get the inside heated up and go faster, heat the heat gun right down the middle of it, and then just about 2 inches up on the outside. So when you look down, if you're looking at it like this is hard to navigate. There we go. So you're going to pinch down top to bottom, then top to bottom, just like a real crowbar would look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to fast forward through most of it, and I'll show you how I do a beveled end instead of just a flat end. And I'll show you an example of that. Okay, you can see it's kind of singed on the end, no big deal. And you can also see it's kind of bowing out a little bit, so that means it's ready to go. What you're going to do is come about 1 inch up on your board. Take your other board, put it right on top, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure. I'm just barely putting my weight on it. I'm going to press down. And by now you probably have a pretty good idea about how long it takes to cure. Since the inside's hot, it should stick together pretty well without any sort of adhesive on the inside. Okay, so here's about what we have right now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put full pressure on the end here when I'm heating it up again, and I'm putting it through the boards to clamp it down. I'm going to put about half pressure up here so it gets a nice beveled look instead of just circle, sphere, circle, 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 flat, because that's not going to look very good. So heat it up a little bit more. Okay, so I'm heated up again. Now what I mean, put this towards the back and press down all the way. And in the front, don't press down quite as hard. So you get a nice, flat surface in the back. And in the front, it won't be as bad. Now, most crowbars have a little bit of a bend back to them. So I'm going to push down on this end. Give it some time, and I'll show you what we got. See what I'm doing here. Okay, now you've got a shape like this. It actually looks really good to me. So what we'll do, take some sort of Sharpie or writing utensil. You're just going to notch out a V, something like that. So you're going to cut this part out. I honestly use a scroll saw. You could use a Dremel, hacksaw, whatever kind of cutting tool you feel like using. So I'm going to go cut that out. I'll show you what we got. Alright, so now you've cut it, you can see there's some little burrs on there just due to the nature of the PVC. Really easy to fix. Take some sandpaper, probably 50 to 80 grit. Just knock those off. They're not a big deal. Now you're not going for a perfectly smooth surface anyways. Okay, so there's what we have now. That looks decent to me. I like the curve of it. Now we're going to do the other end. Same thing. Heat it up, heat it up, heat it up, heat it up. So all your pressure back here for about 1 inch up, and then a little bit less pressure right here. And you're going to get a nice flat shape, and you're not going to get a kink or anything of that sort. So here we go. Okay, so that should be good. We came out our bend a little bit, no big deal, easy to fix. So like I said, put it towards the back. All pressure goes towards that back side. A little bit less towards the front. Give it a good press. Fast forward through this part of the video again. So now we have this at the end. It's still pretty hot. You could touch it. Just make sure it's forming up the way you want it. So now, here's what we have. A little bit long on that end down here, but just for tutorials purposes, I'm going to leave it that way. Crowbars are all different shapes and sizes anyways. So once it's cool again, what you're going to do, same thing on the other end. That was a terrible notch. Mark your notch, cut it out however you're going to cut it out. Alright, got my notch cut. Now what I'm going to do is take my sandpaper again, file those burrs down a bit. It shouldn't be too much trouble, just like last time. Good enough. Alright, so there we have it. Alright, so that's it. That's the whole build. Pretty simple once you get used to how the PVC reacts once you heat it up and how it folds and bends. If you have any questions, you have trouble with it, feel free to send me a message and let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. I'm also going to be posting some more tutorials over the course of the next few weeks. I'll be working on one for my Red Hood lenses. I made this helmet over the summer. Just finished it a couple weeks ago. So these lenses are opaque as long as you look into it. If I'm looking out though, I can see out perfectly well. So I'll be posting one about that. I also might post one about how I open the helmet. The helmet doesn't fit on if you just slide it on over the top. You have to go through the back. So it makes it a lot tighter fit and it just clamps right back on. So I'll be posting one about that. I've been doing this for about 10 years now. I can also post videos and tutorials on a lot of other topics, from foam and fiberglass to, you know, making wooden molds and casting everything in silicone. Do some latex makeup effects, all sorts of different stuff. So if you have any questions about anything, send me a message. Maybe I can help you out. Good luck with your own build. Though most of my cosplays are based on comic books, movies, and video games, I do also want to do an Attack on Titan collaboration. So if you know somebody that's interested in that, have them send me a message. We can see what we can put together. Also, I'm going to be working on something special for JonCon this year. JonCon is my local comic shop's convention. They have that on Free Comic Book Day. So not only do you do some cosplay and come out and meet other cosplayers, you also get some free comics. So I'll go ahead and post a link to their page too. Check them out.